deserve to fail because they banned men ages 18 to 60 from leaving the country for suspending their bank withdrawals to try to protect their own currency from a bank run and from collapsing.
What? Wait, do you guys know who this is? Wait, am I crazy? Does anybody recognize the name of this?
Putin's claim is that he's trying to denazify Ukraine. Now, whether this is true or not is something people are still debating. It may be political.
Oh my god.
I stand with Russia. Am I allowed to say that out here, or is somebody going to cancel me if I express some political view that is contrary to the public narrative? You know, war is propaganda. Propaganda is the most important weapon out there, so it depends which side have you been brainwashed to believe, or are we all going to just simply assume that Russia's the bad guy, right? That's the popular narrative around here. And so this is what doesn't quite sit well with me, which is that most people out here have absolutely no clue what Russia and Ukraine are even fighting about, right? You've got Ukraine crying, and have you ever been in an argument with somebody who's crying? You can't win because people are just saying, oh, look, that person's crying. Why are you so mean? Why do you have to be a bully? That person's crying. As if simply by having somebody crying for help, that they're automatically the victim. Now, maybe, yes, Ukraine may be the victim, but let's take a look at what happened. I put out this tweet here where I said Ukraine may deserve to fail because they banned men ages 18 to 60 from leaving the country for suspending their bank withdrawals to try to protect their own currency from a bank run and from collapsing.
What?
And I believe that in many ways, the blood is now on the hands of the Ukrainian government because people want to leave. They're trying to get out of the entire region, and Ukraine is saying, you sit here and you fight for me. You try to save me. They're trying to get out, escape, and just seek a better future for themselves, a better life, and yet their own government is trapping them. They're escaping from their own government as much as from the Russian government. And you know, Abraham Lincoln here said that those who deny freedom for others deserve it not for themselves.
Was Abraham Lincoln opposed to a draft? Or what? Like, what? Okay.
Quick pause. This video is brought to you by myself, DeFiPro.dev. This is a new online course and community for decentralized finance. Decentralized finance is passive income, and I'm excited to share all of my learnings and experience with you in here. There'll be a link in the description below, DeFiPro.dev. Check it out. And so when I started looking into this, what percentage of Ukrainians actually want to join Russia? Well, most don't really seem to care, right? Some are pro-Russia, some are pro-Western. Most people just want a better...
Wait.
What percentage of Ukrainians actually want to join...
What percentage of Ukrainians want to join Russia?
Russia? Well, most don't really seem to care, right? Some are pro-Russia, some are pro-Western.
Why is he Googling a Quora fucking article to, like, wait, what the fuck is this video?
Most people just want a better life, and they're not necessarily going to let their own...
What is it even citing? I'm trying to...
with you in here. There'll be a link in the description below, DeFiPro.dev. Check it out. And so when I started...
According to a December 2016 survey of both Ukrainians and Russians, around 3% of Ukrainians wanted to join the RF, Russian Federation, down from 24% in 2009. Nearly 50% of Ukrainians wanted closed borders with Russia, compared to fewer... How do you go from that to...
Look into this. What percentage of Ukrainians actually want to...
So he just skips this answer completely? 57% of Ukrainians had a cold attitude towards the Russian Federation.
Russia.
So he skips all of that and he comes down to this guy? That's not Russian colors, right? Isn't it white, blue, and red? Why is black, blue, is this a different color? Dude, I don't know the fucking flags of black, blue, red. That is a separatist flag. Oh, gotcha. Okay. It's one of those break-off territory flags. Okay. It's the Donetsk flag. And this guy's title is Director at Russian Information Regulation Agency. Wait. Wait, do you guys know who this is? Wait, am I crazy? Does anybody recognize the name of this? No. Never mind. I just realized it. The, Part of the oh God, what am I thinking of? The Mueller indictments was for the IRA, but it wasn't Information Regulation Agency. It was the Internet Research Agency. Was it? IRA, because that was the propaganda company set up in the United States to propagandize Americans for random shit. The abbreviation was IRA, I remember that. It's still funny that he's looking at a guy, though, from the director at a Russian Information Regulation Agency for his source of information here.
Well, most don't really seem to care, right? Some are pro-Russia, some are pro-Western. Most people just want a better life, and they're not necessarily going to let their own political beliefs get in the way of a better life for them. They just want a nice life. And so if a company in Russia were to offer them maybe double the income, double the salary, well, then they would migrate over to Russia. And if their life is better in Ukraine, maybe they'll stay there. And then there's some hardcore nationalists on either side who are going to just stay in the country and fight to their death for it. But most people aren't necessarily going to be like that. And so when you're out there virtue signaling, saying that I'm wrong, that I'm a terrible person, and that Ukrainian people must fight for their independence, and yet you're sitting there. You yourself, you're not willing to fight physically. You'd rather live a better life, right? That's worth more than independence of Ukraine for you. So if you really care, why don't you put on some boots and go over to Ukraine, pick up a gun, and fight for Ukrainian governments? Let's take a look here. Twitter says it will consider censoring emerging narratives about the Ukrainian war. So cancel culture is now coming into play where we're going to try to shape the narratives here. Propaganda at play. Instagram as well. Facebook has also joined in. YouTube will also probably start playing a role here where we're going to just start censoring information about this war so that we can shape the narratives around here. Facebook has already started restricting the official accounts of 4 Russian media outlets. Meanwhile, over on Instagram, there's a lot of influencers, such as myself, who are capitalizing on the war. You've got people posting fake images, imagery from video games, even pretending that these scenes are from Ukraine in order to capture eyeballs and gain more followers on Instagram. One Instagrammer says, what I'm trying to do is get as many followers as possible by using my platform and skills. The accounts are what are becoming known as war pages on Instagram with shocking battleground footage and videos depicting violence with no context at all, and then trying to monetize the followers by posting advertisements, sometimes for OnlyFans creators. And the same with YouTube as well. Officials in the US, UK, and Europe are now discussing restrictions to target groups and people with huge audiences on platforms like YouTube. So what can we believe out here? And undoubtedly, there's going to be a narrative, a bias against Russia because, hey, historically, we fought against Russia in the World War II. That was the West versus Russia, the Cold War. But did you know that Ukraine also supported Hitler? Like, there's this thread of neo-Nazism within Ukraine, and so...
What? Okay.
Putin's claim is that he's trying to denazify Ukraine. Now, whether this is true or not is something people are still debating. It may be political.
I miss the anti-SJWs. I actually do. I miss Sargon and all of that when people just wanted to like shit on LGBT people and like that was the and feminists, I guess. I miss those people.
Propaganda as well here, but what are people really trying to fight for here? Now, it's very difficult to understand this, especially as an American myself. I don't even know where these countries are, but my understanding is that Putin had always viewed Russia and Ukraine as a single country. He would like to unify these countries into a single whole because fundamentally he believes Ukraine to be an illegitimate government originally belonging as a part of Russia.
That's because they used to be before the Warsaw Pact, or before the dissolution of the Soviet Union. No shit. There's a lot of independent countries right now that Putin wants to see as being part of Russia. Like
back in the 1900s. Not to mention, he doesn't want NATO coming into the mix. Like, Ukraine was trying to join NATO, and the idea is that if you attack a single NATO country, then you attack all of them. And Russia kept saying, just be a neutral country, stop trying to join NATO. And Ukraine kept trying to join them, so Russia said, look, they didn't want an enemy on its doorsteps. And so Putin's fear is, let's imagine Ukraine is a NATO member and starts these military operations. In Putin's eyes, the West promised back in 1990 that NATO would not expand an inch to the east, but they did so anyways. And as I understand, Putin has been maybe ideological in his approach, in which it seems like he's trying to protect Russian culture, peoples, and values, even those people within Ukraine. And so parts of Ukraine, especially those on the eastern side, have actually wanted to belong into Russia, and they support Russia, like the territory of Crimea, voluntarily escaped from Ukraine and separated, becoming a part of Russia, annexed in 2014. And there's these other territories on the eastern side that also are trying to do the same thing. And so as Putin states, Ukraine is not just a neighboring country for us, it is an inalienable part of our own history, culture, and spiritual space. Since time immemorial, the people living in the southwest of what has historically been Russian land have called themselves Russians. What we now call Ukraine, he says, was entirely created by Russia. It is intolerable to Putin because the Ukrainian government seeks to legitimate itself by creating conflict with Russia, both oppressing its native Russian speakers and menacing Russia's borders. And so in his view, the collapse of the Soviet Union was a major political disaster with tens of millions of their citizens now outside of Russian territory. So that's their view. But what's going on with Ukraine? Well, Putin has called for Ukraine to just surrender. Nobody has to die, right? No one has to die at all, just surrender. That's it. No blood needs to be shed here. Nobody has to...
just give us your country. Oh my God.
Die. As they say, an argument requires two sides in order to start an argument. However, Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, has forced its own citizens to fight, right? They say that any man aged 18 to 60 cannot leave the country, you have to stay and fight. Why? Because the number one target is Zelensky himself, so he's throwing his own sheep to the slaughter in order to protect himself. If he were to just give himself up, maybe they could stop the conflict. Zelensky, and by the way, I don't know who any of these people are, but he seems to be some comedian actor. He was in entertainment as a prior career, and he's very good at propaganda. Like, he's using all of these words about evil, tyranny, oppression. He says here, we are all here, our soldiers are here defending our independence. Whereas most people, I don't even know if people care about their own independence, they just want a good life. Many people want to escape the country, right? And he's not letting them leave. He says, you stay here, you fight for your independence. People don't want to fight for that. They just want to go out and have a better life. And so here's how I see it. I believe there's actually three sides to this war. You've got the Russians, you've got the Ukrainians, and then you've got the people of Ukraine who are actually suffering on the ground. And if you want to support Ukraine, then you support Ukraine's right to just militarize its own people, to force them to fight, to conscript them into a draft, to take away their freedoms, and to force people to be doing something they don't even really want to do. If you support Russia, then well, fine, you support Russia. But I would rather support the people of Ukraine.
Who is this guy? What does he do? Why I can't trust anyone anymore. How crypto changed me. I still think we should free Elizabeth Holmes as a millionaire. Wait, the woman that scammed? Is this the Theremin or whatever scammer?
I still think we should let Elizabeth Holmes free. After releasing my video last week about why we should free Elizabeth Holmes, I was actually quite dismayed and pitied a lot of the people who were commenting on here because so many of you seem to be so lost in life. Simply by reading these comments, I can tell that you're not living life the right way. Your entire way of thinking is flawed and you will never be successful with some of the thought patterns that I see in here. And it is disappointing. And by the way, quick pause, this video is brought to you by Webull, the stock trading app. Excellent app. I check them every morning. Get 2 free stocks. When you sign up, there will be a link for you in the description below. So we're going to address some of the comments in here, but let me explain something for you. There is no justice in the world. Now, this is something that you can really only appreciate with age because generally when you're younger, every single wrong is rated. Life is pretty fair. The schools make sure that everything is fair.
It must be like a troll channel.
Just surrender, bro. We won't execute all intellectuals and counter-protesters. Your president, please believe me, bro. Just give up your country.
It's got to be like a troll channel. Do you think? Is it like a troll debating channel?
But when you've been through some of the things I've been through, like for me, my kid was taken from me, kidnapped at age 3, just randomly vanished, stolen and kidnapped to another country. Now, in the first few days, weeks, or months, I tried to right this wrong. I thought maybe I could do something about this to fix this scenario. But so much time has passed by now that this wrong can never, ever be righted. There will never be justice here. The relationship between a father and a child has been destroyed. And there's nothing in this world that can fix this. Not money, not gifts, not an apology, not time and effort, really nothing. And the strangest thing is that the person who committed this act was really the kid's own mother. And so, do I want to see this person punished and taken to jail? No, because it would not serve me any good at all. Like, I don't want to do that to the kid's mother, and it really serves me no benefit. I don't even know what would be done in this case. And so I've come to the conclusion that justice is simply not going to be served in this scenario, ever. And you hear these stories from soldiers who go to war as well. The good soldiers Million need to get killed. token The bad is lazy. literally $1 million opportunity. I'm putting $1 million of my own money into this to get us started, but this coin can skyrocket in price. We're off to a great and explosive start. Over 10x gains within just the first week. Well, this is the Moonshot token that you're looking for. And you guys, I mean, this must be one of the fastest growing cryptocurrencies at launch. We're going into the history books for this one, guys.
Dude, I wish all the people that did the crypto shit all went to jail. They're not going to. I should have cashed out. Fuck, I could have made millions off you fucking morons. Then I would have gotten revenge on all you guys that troll me while I'm queuing League games. That's what I should have done. I should have trolled all of you. Should have trolled all of you. Trolling. It's not too late. Yeah, where's DGG coin? Hold on one second. Melly made vegan food? No, is it really?